Welcome back to Anno 1800, episode 9 of our new series. We're playing the campaign in the hardest difficulty. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you missed any of the previous episode. In the last episode, we got to Artista in the new world, to Engineer in the old world, and in the main story, we started the investigation to find the contract. The Beforians were trying to escape, and actually they did. Apparently we lost them. Apologizes the captain. But a few days later, Isabel received a letter, so I think let's fan through the city looking for clues. Your scouts pick up the scent immediately. Wow, so good. Let's continue. A few minutes later we arrive to the house of Pierre. Prosperity contract must be there. Let's launch an assault. Let's be crazy. We dispatch the guards. Yes. Persist with the frontal assault. Crazy. The defense is short-lived. Yes. Let's look into the library first. We find something. What is it? Eggs. The eggs to put in the museum. This is pretty good. It's pretty good. I can accept it. Throw maybe some beef and put that instead. Okay. Then where else should we go? Maybe the study.
What's eaten biscuit for?
And we get another reward. This is also a pretty good one. Let's take it. We can take this out and put this one. Any ideas? The expedition comes back with a prosperity contract. Let's see.
To beat the Perforians at their own game.
Yeah, I know. I'm strong, right?
Well done, eldest. You have served both Isabel and the Empire greatly.
I serve the Empire. What a beautiful ship. This is the Queen.
Isabel Sarmento, Her Royal Highness the Queen requires you to give up your iniquitous seizure of prosperity, an island which by no means...
Oh, do stop, Archie. Is this tiny fleet all I have to sink to get my island back?
She's cute.
Maybe nothing need be sunk at all, Majesty.
Who are you to speak up without permission?
Yeah, don't talk to my sister.
This is one of the good children I mentioned. A little forward, but surprisingly helpful so far.
Thank you.
Regard here, Your Majesty. The prosperity contract and our father's diary. The signatures do not match. And now compare with a freight document by our Uncle Edvard. Do you see? He forged the signature in order to impersonate father.
Aha.
So, Edvard is the traitor. I certainly never authorized that silly Billy to act on my behalf. I declare the contract null and void.
Then we too were betrayed. We will leave prosperity immediately, Your Majesty.
Well, it's not like you're there anyway.
Then, I suppose we'll not be sinking any ships today. Not even as a deterrent?
Terribly sorry, Your Majesty, but I fear not.
We can go to my uncle.
Well, in that case, I hereby declare prosperity returned to the good children to compensate the dead father, thereby ensuring Miss Sarmento and co. are safe from this Perforian nuisance.
They
I
are
don't know.
more than a nuisance, and they will never accept this. You must be careful.
Thank you.
We hear you, Isabel, but first we return to Bright Sands and confront Uncle Edvard. His wicked masquerade is over.
Yes.
I am sorry you had to go through all this just to have justice. For the first time in my life, I know freedom.
What do you mean? You're super rich. You have so much freedom. Okay, we're back in the old world, I guess.
I sense you have news?
Edvard was the cause of all our grief. To see his face when he discovers we know.
I know.
Edvard is behind this? He's pathetic.
Isn't he?
Whatever the punishment, the damage to Edvard is already done.
Chapter 4. The torch passes.
Edvard is as good as dead to me.
Should be.
Edvard! I told you he was rotten as a fig.
I don't think you did, but okay.
An exclusive deal.
prosperity given to us. Thank you.
Another player has had their island seized.
Yeah, we have prosperity now. Oh, it's a shame there's some resources there, but I don't think we're gonna get there
Route plotted.
in time to gather them. But yeah, we have prosperity, which is not the most beautiful island, but it has a lot of oil. And oil is money in power, right? As the saying goes. Now, before we actually deliver this contract of sale to Edward and see what happens, I want to make some progress. We should make some progress both in the new world and the old world. So I went ahead, and now in Manola we have a lot more people. As you can see, we have actually 3 of these stamps. You know, you can see 1 town hall, 2 town hall, 3 town halls, and then I've added houses in between. So over here, there, and there. They're obviously not covered by those town halls, and they will remain as happy jornaleros. But in the town halls, we're slowly going to move up. You know, I have, for example, over here only obreros, and then over here only artista over there. So already a lot more artista than before.
Of course, you know what's best.
We don't have enough yet to start the dam, but we're getting pretty close. I mean, already halfway there. Now, obviously, to have all of this population happy, we've had to increase all of those productions over here, right? I had to build all of those buildings there for the ponchos. We built both tortillas over here. We have a lot more rum distillery than before. You know, this used to be only 1 or 2, now we have 5. I've also started to make beer directly in the new world. Beer is not only an old world resource now, you can make beer on the new world with the hacienda. It will actually also require grain, but on top of that some corn. And then it goes directly into the brewery. You don't need the malt house in the middle. So it's a pretty efficient way to do it, especially with those hacienda farms, you know, for the grain and the corn, because that's only 64 fields, right? So that's what we have over here. We have the corn at the top, and then we have over here a lot of the grain. We've also increased our bombing production. We used to have only 1 over here. Now we have a 2nd there, and actually a 3rd over here. The coffee has been built, 2 coffee roasters with, of course, 4 coffee plantations, and a lot of fry plantain kitchen, which come, of course, with a lot of banana and a lot of fish oil. So yeah, if we look at our consumption, you know, we're good on beer directly on the island, rum, coffee, bombing, fried plantain. Poncho is actually now producing a lot more than what I need, because I have moved, as I said, a lot of those obreros to artista, and the artistas don't need the ponchos anymore. So we could stop a couple soon. Then tortilla, we're fine. And then we have a lot of new productions over here. We still haven't started the cigars. I need to do this. And for the sewing machine, I'm actually bringing them from the old world right now, even if we actually can also make them in the new world now. So I will definitely show you that later. The other thing with those artista is, as I said, they don't need those poncho and fried plantain anymore, but they also don't need the market. You know, this marketplace over here, which is required for the jornaleros and obreros, is not required anymore. So I've deleted it over here. They also don't need in the happiness tab, they don't need anymore the chapel. So I've also deleted it over there. And with that, we have a bit of space, you know, for new productions in the future. Last but not least, we have actually built the beach. One new basic need. Here it is. That's the beach. A couple of people on the sand, in the water. But as you just saw, it's not great. It's only giving 79. That's not enough. Now, the first thing we can do is transform this into an actual paved road, because with paved roads, you increase the range of services. So if we check over here, you know, I think it was around 79. Now it's 82. That's still not so great. But don't worry, there is a great mechanic with the beach. If you click on it, you'll see there is the main building, but there's also multiple smaller ones. What happens is when you build some of these like this next to it, it will increase the range. So let me build a couple, and then hopefully we're gonna see a great range now. You can see this range increase by clicking on the beach and hovering over there, plus 74%. So now if I look at that same house, it is at 100%. If I look at a house even at the end of the corner there, it is also at 100%. And we can even check, you know, all the way over here in the lifestyle need, both our jornaleros and obreros also want a beach. All the way over here, it is actually not at 100%, but it's pretty close, 96 for this one over here. Now we also have a completely new production over here. This is the production for aluminium. aluminum profile coming from the bauxite and the coal. The coal you can bring from the old world, or you can now build those charcoal kiln also in the new world. So that's what I've done over here. And the bauxite is this mine over here. It's a new mine. It's pretty cool, you can see.
Strange looking stuff, bauxite. But with a little magic, it can give us the lightweight metal that we need.
Yeah, it does. It is actually a mine that takes a lot of jornaleros, more than 200, but it's a super quick production, 10 seconds without electricity, right? So right away what I did is I made it minus 50% instead of plus 50% like we usually do. This way it is balancing in terms of the happiness. You can see, right, the bauxite is giving it plus 2. That's why I'm at 0, even if I have those ones in positive. It's a great mine actually to have right away. And with this, we're gonna be able to start, the next stage. We're gonna be able to start the hangar foundation.
Once that hangar is assembled, what a sight it'll be.
Indeed. So it's a monument, we did phase 1 now, we can start phase 2. It's gonna take a lot of jornaleros, but that's fine, we can do it. A bit of resources, 10 minutes, all good. Do put a small warehouse in range, otherwise you're never gonna be able to deliver those resources, right? And we can also start the airship platform, another of those new buildings. It will require airships, of course. We don't really have them yet, but that's fine. We can still start it, and we can even put the modules. There are 3 modules. You can only build one of these per island, and they need to be connected to the main building like this.
Get another one of those up and running, and your workers will be able to live on.
Now let me show you what they do. The first one is the item transfer depot. If I have any item on my island, like this Protector Ops egg, I can put it over there. Then a couple of seconds later, it will be available anywhere in the new world, where I also have another item transport depot. Then we have the airmail sorting office. This is giving you a bit of storage capacity, only 10, so that's pretty much useless. But more importantly, this will enable you to transport mail between different islands. And this is how you transform the local mail into regional mail or overseas mail. Regional means you transport between 2 islands in the same region. So for example, 2 islands in the new world, versus overseas is between region. So for example, between 1 island in the new world and 1 island in the old world. Last but not least, we have the commuter station. This is basically the same as the commuter pier in the old world, that you may know. If not, don't worry, we're gonna talk about it just now. But that's for the new world. With that, I can start having shared workforce between my island. Let's do that right away. Using La Isla, right? We still have La Isla over here that's working very well. We have all of our breras, etc. So let's build also an airship platforms over here. We're missing some bricks. Okay, I'll have to wait a second. Okay, phase 2 is done, so let's start phase 3. We need 30 bricks and 40 aluminium. Easy, let's go. Oh, Alonso just has been annihilated just now. This was his last island in the new world, and apparently I missed it when he lost his last island in the old world, because yeah, he's nowhere to be seen, and in particular in the diplomacy tab we can see he's nowhere. So now it is a one-on-one between me and the Admiral Silva, who has 4 times our military. So it's really time that we improve this. We need to get to the steamships.
In one of your factories.
The only good thing is so far we have a high reputation with him, so hopefully it doesn't declare war tomorrow.
Has been vanquished.
But yeah, we need to accelerate there. Talking about accelerating, we have finished phase 3 of the hangar, so we can start phase 4, which requires a bit of obreros. We have a lot. A bit of sail, we don't have 50, but soon we'll have enough. And similarly for the aluminum profile. Let's do it. And we have just built the airship platform on La Isla. So let me show you that indeed, now I have access to the eggs. I can just get them by right-clicking on it. Now they are on this island automatically. Similarly, this will enable us to transport the mail soon. And last but not least, we have now the commuter pier. So we have now shared workforce between those 2 islands, which is really good. Back on Manola, I've also started to give one new resource, the soccer balls. Football victory. To make those soccer balls, we need 2 things. We need the Nandu leather and we need the caoutchouc. We cannot make caoutchouc on this island, so I had to make it somewhere else. On the other hand, we can make the feather. It's over here. It's a farm with 4 modules, a bit like your alpaca farm. On the other hand, the only island that I have that has a caoutchouc fertility is actually Prosperity. So over here on Prosperity, thanks to the world bonus, we have some free workforce, and therefore I didn't need to put any population. I just put the basic buildings. So I just put 4 of those caoutchouc plantation over here. They're quite big, 144. And then we have this one over here, just transporting the caoutchouc back and forth. So yeah, with this, we've started to give the balls. That's great. Now I'm going to focus a bit on the old world. So yes, we are back in the old world. First of all, with this new limestone quarry. Like all the other mines, this is built on specific slots on your mountain, and this is gonna be critical for reinforced concrete. On Ditchwater, I actually have 2 of those limestone deposits, so that's easy. I just took this one over here. With this limestone quarry, we get some cement, we add to that some steel, and we get the reinforced concrete in the concrete factory. This is quite a slow one, 1 minute production time, cost a lot, 400 of maintenance cost, 75 engineers. So I just built 1 for now. In the future maybe we'll do a bit more, but that's enough to get us started. And in particular with this reinforced concrete, I've been able to build my first commuter piers. You have seen that in the new world we've started to share a workforce between islands, so we definitely want to do the same in the old world. That will help us a lot. Again, it does cost quite a bit of money. It's 1000 of upkeep per island, but it is really useful because now I have Ditchwater over here, which had a bit of everything, which is also connected to this island over here, which had a lot of farmers. That's why we are quite high on farmers. And I've also connected it to my new capital over here. This way I don't really need to have a mix of different population tiers. On this one, we could put everything into engineers. You know, we can start upgrading all of these, right? We don't need farmers anymore. I can still have the farmers production, like the schnapps distilleries on the island, but I don't need the workforce on the island itself. So yeah, as you can see, I've started to develop this island more. We're gonna push these ones into workers, then artisans, and then into engineers. We already have over here 1 full block, 1 town hall of engineers. It's a lot more. We've unlocked obviously a lot more productions, as you can see. On top of the glasses, we have the coffee, electricity, light bulbs, and on the other side over here, the ram, the penny farthing, the pocket watches, and very soon the bank, which gives you tons of money. Also in terms of lifestyle need, to make sure we make a lot of money, they want some soap, I've been giving them that. They also want some chocolate, mezcal, and the ice cream, all of this from the new world, so we can increase the production. Last but not least, you know, as always, the mail. I've actually added over here this post office. We could put a second one probably somewhere over here later, and then a third one on this side. But yeah, we've upgraded a lot, and you may have realized that I've also even started to give electricity. So we have a completely new chain of production over here and some trains. You know, we have our trains going through the city transporting the oil. So let me explain how this is working. You see the electricity production chain over here. It starts with the oil refinery. This is this building over there, right? This building over here actually has a range. In this range, this is where you can put those oil wells. So this is why I need 2 oil refineries actually, you know, to cover all 3 of those deposits, because those oil wells, you can only put them on an oil spring. So this is why we're gonna do this, and yeah, we're gonna actually put this second one right away. So now we have an oil refinery over here with only 1 well, and we have a second one with 2 wells. Do note that this whole thing can actually explode, have riot, etc. So do make sure that you could leave it connected. And I think we're going to add, you know, 1 more over here just to be safe. Yeah, I have my train over here that took a bit of oil from there, and it's going over here. It's gonna take a bit more oil. You can see it is getting some more oil, and done. And we have a bit more. And then it's going to go delivering it into this oil power plant, which also has a small internal storage, as you can see, 100, and we'll use this to make electricity. In green, we can see my electricity range. So most of my houses over here are in range. That's great. Then, you know, in the future, I'll probably build a second one over here. And also I'm thinking we'll need another one there. I'll explain why in a second. Now, this will not actually work if you don't have an oil harbor, which is also connected with those rails, because this is where all of the trains are coming from. But this is not only a train station, this is also a harbor, as I just said. So we can actually also transport this oil between islands using one of these oil tankers. You can usually buy some at Archie as soon as, you know, you unlock it into your tech tree. But in the future, we're gonna want to make them, of course. And not just this, as we said, we want to catch up, increase our military. So we want a steam shipyard. This requires a lot of resources, 100,000 of money, a lot of engineers, 75 reinforced concrete. But most importantly, this requires electricity to work. It cannot work without electricity. So this is why I think we're gonna need another of those oil power plants very close, because this one was a bit too far, to have this in range. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be producing enough oil on this island. I have already increased the working condition to +50, and we're only producing 18 per minute and using 12 for just one of these over here, right? So having 3 on the island is not gonna be possible with just those 3. We're gonna need to get some from somewhere else. We have a bit more on ditch water, but I'll probably use it for ditch water. So what we're gonna have to do is probably get it from the New World. The good thing is, look at Prosperity, 13 oil fields, and they are quite centralized. This one can get all 3. This one can probably get at least 5. There's just one that's missing, and this one 4. So, this is really good. This is 75 obreros. We only have 100 of free obreros with this island. So we'll either need to build a commuter station, or we'll have to put some population on the island. And to have all of these be engineers, we're gonna need a lot of productions, right? So on this island, I've also started to make the sewing machine right away, because on Deepwater, I was already using all of my iron. I didn't have any iron left. So now we're making directly on site. But more importantly, I'm starting to use more trade unions with cool items. For example, for the fur coats. We used to have the fur and the cotton fabric from the New World, which was taking a lot of space in the New World and was also obviously requiring transport. Now we're gonna use this item over here, the costume designer. Instead of the usual workforce of artisans, it's going to use workers. That's cool, that's easy. And instead of the cotton fabric from the New World, it's just going to use the wool that we've been producing anyway for the work clothes. So that definitely makes it a lot easier. And with this, I can produce all of the fur that's gonna be needed for my engineers. I need to do the same for the canned food. We definitely need, to increase the production, and then we can move into those new production chains. Our first airship hangar is also finished over here in the New World.
An impressive structure, I must say, befitting the wondrous craft that we're going to launch.
Indeed, quite an impressive structure. Unfortunately, to make any of those airships, I need one more resource. We need the helium. By the way, from time to time, Silva is trying to buy shares of my islands instead of declaring war to me. He's buying, shares. This is not great. You need to make sure that you buy them back. Otherwise, at some point, he can buy your whole island and take it over. Unfortunately, there's also a timer between when you can buy new shares. So I just bought one, 2 minutes ago. So now I need to wait 10 minutes before I can buy, the last one. And in that 10 minutes, maybe he's gonna rebuy another one. But yeah, as I said, we need helium. And that helium production is actually not the easiest. It's gonna require a couple of things. First of all, it requires a mine, right? It's a mine of helium. We have 3, so that's good. And in particular, I have built one over here. But this mine doesn't just produce the helium. It needs 2 inputs to produce it. First of all, it needs some clay. That's not too hard. We have 2 deposits over here, so I've built it. Then it also requires industrial lubricant, which is a new building that requires trees. So you need some space, it's gonna build those trees over here.
Come to watch.
But it also requires 2 different inputs. The fish oil, it's not too hard, but also the salpetre, which you actually can get in the New World now, but it requires electricity, or you have to grade it from the Old World. So we're gonna need to start that production in the Old World for now, bring it into the New World, then we can get some helium, and then we can finally start making some airships, transport our mail, and actually also use our airship for war, because some of them are armed with weapons, so they can fight with each other, and we can also create bombs to drop on our enemies. So really interesting mechanics to play with.
One thing I won't have to explain is gravity. Bombs, mines, pamphlets, care packages. Load up your airships and let them rain down.
Easy peasy. But yeah, again, a lot of great progress, in particular to unlock almost all of the engineering good. Please smash the like button, tell me in the comments below if you have any questions, thoughts or requests. Then before we start the next episode, I think I'm gonna try to upgrade a lot of this, get a lot of the productions going, and in the next episode we can start playing maybe with better ships and maybe also airships. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.